So are you prepared? The grid crashes. Are you just hoping that it's going to come back on? Or have you done all of the things left of bang to prepare for that moment of no power? I mean, that's the question. Do you have generators? Do you have battery packs? What have you done to prepare for that moment? Yeah, it's not a question of if the power is going to go out. The question is, how long is the power going to go out? Here in Texas, just in the past few years, we have had multiple power outages, from cold weather to freezing rain to a snowpocalypse. We've also had during the summer where they're just turning off power. We've had fires, as close as this week, fires to such a degree that they're shutting off entire sections and counties of power, which kind of leads us very quickly to what stuff do you have to keep you alive? So there's plenty of studies. One that's referenced over and over and over again, 90% of Americans within 1 year of no power will die. That's a very frightening thing when you think about all of the ways that power gives us life. Our refrigerators, our air conditioners, our heaters. These are things that consistently, constantly need power. And do you have ways to keep your life powered? Morale's a big part too. As a father of 4 kids with a pretty wife, it's just being comfortable, not just warm where I'm not underneath blankets, but do I have coffee? Do I have hot cocoa? Do I have all of the things that help somebody survive what are, scary moments in life? So let's go into some of those things. Today we're gonna go over the options of gas-powered generators and solar-powered battery packs. There's advantages for each of them, and there's some disadvantages for them that you have to understand. The solutions are going to be different for everybody's pattern of life. There's not a one-size-fits-all, but ultimately, you want to have power in this emergency situation, and do you have a plan? So let's just dive into it. Which ones have good features and bad features, and how do we use it for our life, and what did I do when we started really having some scary power problems in 2021 here in Texas? One of the easiest and most accessible solutions for almost everyone is the gas generator. The entry for this is a low price point. It's just over $1,000. The small ones are right around $1,000. And as long as I put fuel in here, I'm able to run this guy. Fuel and oil, a little bit of upkeep, a little bit of maintenance, and there's so many advantages. It's to a degree mobile. It has constant output on power. Ease of use. The start on this could not be easier. I have a battery pack. As long as the battery's good, I can push one button, thing starts right up, constant power. I know ultimately what the limit is. There's a step-by-step guide for me, whether I'm using fuel or if I'm using propane. And then heaven forbid, if something goes wrong, it also has some problem solving. I hadn't used this for 3 years, and in just a short amount of time, I was able to do all of the upkeep on it, get new fuel in there, get it up and running. There are drawbacks. This can't be in the house. It's not supposed to be near the house. I'm supposed to make sure that the exhaust is, pointing in a safe direction with the wind blowing it off. This, as you hear, there's barely any fuel in here, as I'm using good fuel that isn't gonna gunk this thing up. And fuel only lasts so long. When power went out in February, gas stations weren't running either. There was no way to get more fuel, so the fuel that you have is the fuel that you have. It's just that simple. There's no, preparing for a crisis after a crisis occurs. You only have the time before the crisis for you to prepare. And for a lot of people, even in our neighborhood, they were stuck, they were isolated. You think about Hurricane Helene, how long those people, especially in those remote areas of Western North Carolina and Tennessee, how dangerous their lives were kind of hanging on by a thread. Not a lot of solar powered battery packs or generators out there. And even the ones that they had, they ran out of fuel pretty fast. Fuel only lasts about a year. The fuel that was in here yesterday was bad, so I had to drain it and then put fresh fuel in it. it is a superpower to have power. And it is frightening when you don't. The things that you can do with it, man, you got to make sure that you have it. So one of the worst attributes of the gas-powered is the fact that it burns gas of some form, whether it's propane or I'm running unleaded. There is going to be carbon monoxide. That's deadly. And that exhaust, there's a lot of it. It's really, really, really loud. The fire hazard, the danger of having this thing running all the time and being inside of a closed building is just not an option. But how am I going to run this outside in exposed elements when, you know, in our case, it was snowing, it was sleet, rain, and this has happened a few times over now. For us, I'm lucky to have a garage that opens on two sides. I was able to position it into a way that's protected from the elements. And I was also able to use the exhaust as a heating tool to keep my pool filter and its pipes protected. I created like this little avenue, this alleyway for the exhaust, which is right here, to be pumping. And I made this wall so all of that heat coming from the exhaust went and heated the engine and the pipes and the pool filter. You know, I have giant outdoor tanks. I had to make sure that the pump house and the well, that those were heated with the chicken coop and the outdoor kitchen. So there was a lot of power demands. But this exhaust and the noise of this bad boy, man, those stink. Kids didn't like it, wife didn't like it, and I had to put it in a place that was safe, that removed some of the inherent danger around the fire hazard of running a gas-powered generator. There it is. It's a little loud, you know. And you can't feel this, but that's like hitting my hand right here. That's constant heat. That's constant carbon monoxide. And like you can't smell it, but woo, it's strong. One pull, good to go. Superpower, thing's amazing, right? Tons of advantages, some very significant disadvantages. I have to locate this far away from my home. That's one of the biggest ones. I'm running electrical cords to everything. And for me to be inside of the house, I'm gonna have to run power from here, from a safe place indoors. While that is a big disadvantage, solutions with battery walls and you know, kind of mobile battery storage makes it really simple. So let's go check out some of the solar generators and see kind of how that system works and how similar and dissimilar they are to the gas power generators. All right, so let's talk some solar. This is so simple. There are a ton of benefits from using solar. Like weight and maneuverability and mobility of it is a really easy factor. You know, I could throw this in the back of the car. I could take this camping. Matter of fact, next weekend I'm going camping. I'm gonna have like 10-year-olds with me again. And this is gonna be in the direct center of the whole entire camp. So we'll have the power for the whole entire camp just running off of this. We daisy chained these solar panels. We have a lot of power going out, got a heater that's currently running, and we have solar panels that are daisy chained together. So all three of the solar panels are connected to each other, and those are all running into the battery. The battery is being charged while the battery is using power. This 75-foot extension cord, I can take this battery pack inside and I can run it inside while the battery is still getting charged. This is renewable. Like as much as I hate the idea of this renewable green energy as like the way forward, it is on the emergency side really, really important because I don't have to store fuel. I don't have to keep something that only has a shelf life of a year. I don't have to like do all of this ongoing maintenance to make sure that I'm burning the fuel that's in it. I'm changing out the filters and the filters and the plugs in a certain number of hours. This I can just store as I had stored in my back closet and pull it out in case of emergency. And as long as I have the sun, I'm able to have power. This is a really, really neat feature. And then being able to have this in the direct center of the kitchen. There's a ton of tech that's gone into this now. So there's some EMP protection that's in it. the Faraday bag that I store it in. These are all like my Patriot Supply and Grid Doctor kind of proprietary technology that they've put into, like they don't own a Faraday bag, but the way that they put the whole entire system together is absolutely brilliant. They also have, like here in Texas, we had these brownouts where they're just shutting off power and you're only gonna have power for like these tiny little windows. I can plug this into the grid and do a quick power, get it up to 80%, and in that kind of like emergency method, it's gonna negatively affect the longevity of the battery, but I'm now gonna have power for the rest of the day because I have another feature, another option to make sure I have power. And let's listen to this thing. Yeah, nothing. It's nothing. It's absolutely quiet. It's not keeping the kids up. There's no exhaust. There's no carbon monoxide. It's just sitting here anywhere that I want on the inside of the house, and it's providing power. It's providing morale. It's providing comfort. I'm keeping heaters on. And then like this, endless power. Endless power. I love this idea. And with these expansion packs, I can put as many batteries, I think I can do like 6 of them to create a whole battery wall to have that idea of endless power that I can just use solar power to regenerate or to recharge them. Pretty freaking amazing. The days of like, what was that, 2021 in Ukraine, that was a way different thing than we're doing right now with the Grid Doctor. Pretty neat to see the rapid evolution of technology with solar generators. And so that's kind of it. A lot of benefits to the solar generator. You gotta fight pretty hard to find some cons here. Price, I think that is that entry level for somebody looking for emergency power. That generator kind of makes sense. You're getting 2 for 1 when you're getting a solar generator. You're having the ability to make power, which are the solar panels, and then you have the ability to store power and transfer power and having this reserve of power. But they are more expensive. Another con, I live in Texas. I have more sun than I know what to do with. That's not the case for everybody. So knowing that I can charge my solar generator off of the sun, like Superman, he has to have the power of the sun. And this is limited and restricted to recharging when you have sun. So if you have cloud cover for a period of time, if you live in an area that has just a small window of direct sunlight, like living off of those solar panels, kind of scary. Here, definitely not a problem. It's endless sun all year round. But that falls into the con category. I'm going to be cooking dinner off of my Grid Doctor. I'm going to be smoking chicken, which I currently have my pits and spits here at 430 degrees to make some smoked chicken for dinner. And I'm going to be able to run this for 10 hours, bouncing between the fan kicking on, the fan kicking off. But that's a ton of power that I can just go plug back into the solar panel and have mobile power. I can take this inside. I can run the espresso machine, the coffee machine, one of the heaters, lots of different options. And I think for every person finding for their life, their pattern life, does everybody need a whole house generator? Maybe. I think they're pretty rad. Does everybody need a mobile generator? Definitely. That's pretty awesome. Having this battery pack, it just is so simple. If you are an outdoorsman, if you have any love of preparedness and like survivalist to a degree, this is just an absolute. So simple, so easy, and also kind of fun, as I'm gonna make dinner off of my battery pack and then recharge it with my solar panels. Okay, cool. Appreciate you kind of tuning in. Appreciate you allowing me to stumble through working all of these different problems, but I'm gonna go have dinner. Find my chicken, oil and flavor. Here we go.
Why don't you like renewable energy?
No, I do like renewable energy. It's not that I don't like renewable energy. The idea that I'm gonna be able to power 7 billion people off of like wind turbines is just ridiculous. The amount of, it's not green whatsoever, with the amount of petroleum that it goes into making those gigantic fins, to keeping it upkeep it, the lube that goes in it, the lifespan and the amount of power that those generate are just nowhere near what we can do with fossil fuels. So it's not that I don't like them, just the premise that like this type of energy is better than build nuclear power plants, call it a day. Let's just be real about energy. We have to have it. But being silly, like you're saving the planet by building these gigantic things that are killing birds that only last 5-6 years, that burn out, that get destroyed, that actually don't generate enough power to offset the amount of power that it took to make them. It's just disingenuous, and I think it's intellectually like complicit to the lies that are being told about what green energy looks like. Renewable energy, great. There's a use for it. Especially on the emergency side, super important. But like to power the planet, build nuclear power plants and let's be done.